So not sure where to start on having our daughter. That was absolutely one of the best things. Since we had 2 children, it was one of the best that we ever did, and we was just totally amazed. I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Your first child, everyone knows how you feel about that. So.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about Nana?
Squeezing our guts out and giving her a great because you can.
One of the memories that I have with Mom, which is ongoing, is how she's always been here for me with school stuff ever since elementary school. Whenever I would come home and start a project late and it was due the next day, she would always help me with it, even if she was kind of mad about it. And she's still here for me with all the college applications, scholarships, decisions, always pushing me to be a better student, always pushing me to plan ahead, and I'm very grateful.
My favorite memory is when we were all little and you and Mom and Dad used to play cards, and we used to sneak out and get your Skittles. We used to have so much fun together as a family when we all lived together. I miss those times.
My favorite memory of my sister is when we were about 10. She chased me through the house with a butcher knife and tried to kill me.
What did you do?
Told on her.
No, what did you do to make her chase you?
I don't know. Probably something. And then she slammed my fingers in the piano. That was a good one.
I think my favorite memory with Mom would be the fact that she was in the delivery room when I had both Ava and Mila. And that was something just so special to share with her and have her there next to me while my children came into the world, and she was just right there supporting me, and we were able to be happy and cry and just share all the joys of having kids and her grandbabies together. So that was awesome to have her there for that moment, those moments.
Okay, and my favorite thing about Cindy? Well, first, let me tell you my least favorite thing about Cindy. She always looks so stinking young. I think you still look at 50 like you did at 30. It's just really not fair. But despite that, I still like you. I like hanging out with you. I think you're a lot of fun, and I wish you a very happy birthday.
One of the funniest memories that I can think of Mom is the first time she ever cut her hair super short. She came home and popped open a bottle of wine and started drinking it out of the glass, and she was so depressed because she hated it. But now she loves it, so it's okay to laugh. But it was really funny.
Hey, Doug and Cindy.
Hey, man.
I'm losing my voice and we're on the road, so we wanted to tell you happy 50th birthday, even though we can't believe you two are 50.
Yes, correct. And we've got a couple of really good memories that we wanted to share with you. Diane, go first.
Oh, I just remember we met you guys, and it's been like 28 years ago almost, or probably over that, and just playing euchre with you guys at your house on Wednesday nights after church. And Doug and Steve would always cheat and pass cards under the table with their feet.
No.
And what was your saying?
Scoop it poop. And drink Mountain Dew.
So one of my favorite memories of us, Mom, is probably when you and I went down to the Reds game together. It wasn't planned. I had just brought tickets home from work, and I knew exactly who I was going to ask because of how crazy you are about the Reds and how much you love baseball. and it was just you and I that went down, and it was something that I always remember, and something that I really enjoyed just you and I doing together. I love watching sports with you. I love watching all sports, but especially the Reds. You're probably the biggest Reds fan that I know. I find it hilarious that we always joke and say that Mom's in the living room watching the Reds while Dad's in the bedroom watching The Bachelorette. Sorry, Dad, but that is hilarious, and it is 100% true. Love you, Mama.
Remember when Nana and Grandma ring their doorbell when it was my birthday?
Well, when we found out Jean was going to be having a baby, my first thought was that, I wanted my first child to be a girl. And back then, we didn't have the opportunity to find out early or before what the gender of your baby was. So when we found out later on through tests that the doctors that we were having a girl, I was so excited and so elated. Never was disappointed. She's been very much a daddy's girl all of her life, and I'm so proud of her, and the fact that she's almost 50 years old, that's an amazing thing, and she's a wonderful mother and wife, and I'm proud to call her my daughter.
Go Reds!
Happy birthday, Cindy. Can't believe you two are 50 years old. Oh my goodness. I just want to say I have nothing honorary to say about you, but I do have praises. What a wonderful mother and wife you have been to Doug, your children. What a wonderful cook you are. And I do remember the day you met when Doug brought you home, that big pretty smile of yours. I knew that something special was going to happen. So have a happy year.
I walked first time at Nina and Papa's house.
Cindy, my favorite memories of us is always when we got to go out and watch Rachel scrimmage in soccer. We always had fun rooting her on, whether she lost or if she won. Also, I wanted to thank you for going out of your way and making me my own food when you knew I wouldn't like the food you made in the first place. Sorry for being so picky.
So my favorite memory of Cindy would have to be on our trip to Myrtle Beach years ago, before any of us were ever married. We went to Myrtle Beach and we did the banana boat ride. And we were all on this banana boat, holding on for dear life. Everybody is cracking up the entire time. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. Cindy was directly behind me. I can still hear her laughing now. And that is just one of my favorite memories, and that trip was awesome, and I always think of the banana boat ride when I think of that trip.
Cindy, the crazy time with you. I recall you took my son for a drive somewhere in your vehicle. He was scared to death because of your driving, I guess. Didn't have seatbelts on, so he decided to wrap a string across both of you in the front seat of the car. I sure hope you've gotten better over the last 30 years of driving that you don't have to do that anymore.
Another memory that I have with Mom would be right after I had both Ava and Mila. As soon as we got sent home from the hospital and Rob had to go back to work and stuff, she would come over in the mornings and help me, and she'd pretty much stay all day and just do whatever I needed help with. She would help with Ava or Mila, whoever it was, and she would let me take naps, and we would watch movies together, and she would clean my house for me and just do anything that I needed help with. And I appreciated that so much, and that was just super special that she got to be there and help me take care of my little babies.
And Cindy, just hope you have a happy birthday coming up on your 50th birthday. And just think about it as you're coming over the top of the hill, and everything will be downhill after that. And that's a happy thought, and it sounds like it's bad, but just remember, downhill's easier than climbing uphill. Happy day. Bye-bye.
One of my favorite memories of Doug and Cindy is the first time I ever came to their house. I met him for the first time, and I walk in the house, and Jess says, "Hey, everybody, here's Robert," and they're Doug's sitting in his chair, and Cindy's sitting on the couch, with their backs to me, and they both kind of pull one of these, and didn't even turn around. I learned after the fact, that they were trying to play it cool, but it was a little extra cool. So that was one of my favorite ones.
I'll never forget the first time I met Cindy Plummer. We had been to Haiti, Doug and Rachel and my family, and I had not met Cindy, and when we got back, Doug and Cindy had gone on a vacation for their anniversary. And so during that time, Rachel spent a lot of time at our house, and we kind of helped to take care of her during their time away. And when we got back, I met Cindy out in front of their house. I think we were dropping Rachel off. And Cindy and Champ and Casey came out and introduced myself to Cindy. And I remember her saying one of the first things she said was, "I feel like I should be writing you a check because of how much Rachel eats and how you guys have taken care of her." And it's that great sense of humor that Cindy has that's often underappreciated.
I remember Cindy in high school was super, super cute, always, and still looks exactly the same. So, Doug, lucky guy. Happy birthday, guys.
Another memory that I have with Mom is when I was little, and I remember always wanting my nails painted because I wanted to be just like her, and I wanted each individual nail painted a different color. And she would always paint each nail whatever color I wanted, and then she would let me borrow her clothes and wear them to church all the time. And I still borrow her clothes. This is her sweater.
One of my favorite things about Cindy is how she loves her family. Just seeing the love that she has for her kids and for her grandkids, and just watching her continuously sacrifice for them. And one of my favorite things is, when I knew that she accepted me into her family, she had her cookbook out and had a smiley face next to a recipe. And, I kind of asked her what it meant. And, she said, I started marking down recipes that Doug liked. And then she turned the page and she said, and then that one, I marked it down that Doug liked it. And then this smiley face is because you liked it. And that really, touched me and spoke to me because, I realized that now, I was a part of, this group that she, loved so much and cared so much about. And, it was really special to me to have, to be accepted into that.
Don't have any really other special memories. They're all special. For her whole life, was just blessed by having her, and we love her very much.
Yes, we do.
Happy birthday, Doug. I can't believe that you're 50, my sweet little Dougie. I just wanted to say my memories of you. Number one was your orneriness, of course. I remember the time when you ran our riding mower through our patio doors into the dining room. That was one. And the other one was our neighbor's tree, climbing the weeping willow tree, and the branch fell off. And that next day, I was in awe that tree's limb broke. And you never said a word about it. And I remember all the times you're going through the window at night, I didn't know, and eggs were thrown on your window screen, and I wondered why that was happening. So that's just a few of the little ornery things I can remember. But most of all, I remember my sweet little Dougie. And I hope you do have a happy birthday, and I love you so much.
One of the memories I have with Dad is definitely the day that he baptized me on Father's Day. I'm so grateful that he was the one that was able to do that for me, because he's always been here for me in my spiritual walk and being a living example of what it means to follow Christ and to live like Christ. So I'm very thankful for that moment that I had with Dad.
I remember doing the slip and slide at Nana and Papa.
So I do remember the fact Doug taught me how to recycle dirty diapers, and one of the all-time classic stories is when they came to visit us in Evansville, Indiana. think you got when you guys left. I think you got up to about the Terre Haute area, and you couldn't figure out why your car smelled like literally poop, like a dirty diaper. And you discovered that yours truly had placed a dirty diaper on the engine somewhere strategically, so that you guys would enjoy that on your way back to Dayton.
So I could tell a lot of stories about Tony and Doug, mostly involving Tony aggravating Doug and then Doug chasing Tony with some object, knife, picnic table bench, I don't know, and then almost killing him. But in fairness, Tony usually deserved it. But I'm going to leave those stories for somebody else to tell.
So my favorite memory of Doug, I don't know if it's my favorite memory, but it's very funny, would have to be the time that he was watching Callie and she fell off the bed. I was at work, he was outside cutting grass, and Callie was sleeping on Doug and Cindy's bed. And Cindy said, just go check on her, I'm gonna go pick Ray up from school. So he went in to check on her and she was on the floor. He tells us better than me. I wasn't there, I don't know. Crying, whatever. So he called Cindy to say, you know, Callie fell. I don't know what to do. And I think he was at the window talking to her, looking out the window to see when I was coming. And I was already in the house, but he saw my car and he said, well, she's here, I gotta go. And hung up the phone. And then I was like in the living room waiting, and he comes in, thank you, thank you. So he hands me Callie, and there's a mark on her forehead. And he's probably thinking, oh no. And I think I like started touching it, trying to see like, that wasn't there when I dropped her off. And finally he came over and he was like, I have something to tell you. And I don't know, he tells it better than I do, but it's just so funny to me, just the way he reacted and his reaction to it. It was hilarious.
One of the funniest memories of Dad that I can think of is when I tricked him and asked him how to spell eyes. I said, what does E-Y-E-S spell? And he said, yes. and he said, oh, I got it. Easy. And then after trying and trying again, he goes, that's just not a word.
My favorite memory of Doug is Doug taking me to a Rush concert when we were kids. And
did you behave?
No. Yes, of course. And Doug being my best man, and he bought me a beer for my bachelor party.
I would have to say one of my favorite memories with Dad would be when we were little and Mom would work nights sometimes, and me, Bub, and Dad would turn out all the lights in the house and play hide and go seek. And me and Dad were always on a team together, and he would crawl around on his hands and knees, and I would be sitting on his back, and we'd crawl through the house looking for Bub, and we'd hide together. And that was so fun, and we always couldn't wait until Mom went to work so we could do that.
And then there's Douglas. I remember the first time I saw him, and he come in a car to my house and popped his head out the window and said, is Cindy home? And I thought, and he was in the passenger side, somebody was driving, but later learned that that was Craig that was driving that car. And I thought, oh my goodness, who is this guy? But anyway, he's been a blessing to us and to his family.
When I think about Doug, I think about some of the traits that I see in him now that were there even as a young boy. For instance, when he was young, he was always fixing something. He was working on his bike or fixing something that was broken, and usually he was using my dad's tools, which he would then leave on the driveway, and my dad would just lose his mind when he came home from work. But you can see how that paid off for Doug. I mean, he's fixes anything, anytime, willing to come in and help do anything, is just great at that. So you can see from even as a young boy how that continued in him even today as a man.
One of my favorite characteristics about Doug is his passion and love for people and wanting them to hear the gospel. I had the honor of going to the jail with him and hearing him preach, and I came back and I told Jess, for the first time that, your dad is one of my favorite preachers because of just the passion with which, he shares God's love for these people. And you can tell that, even though he doesn't know any of them, that he genuinely loves them and cares about where they spend eternity.
The vacation at the beach.
Yes.
And yes, I remember sitting on the
Siesta Key,
yes,
Florida.
Sitting on the beach and watching Doug. All of us were sitting there exhausted and watching Doug just bounce around on the beach with all the energy. So
yeah, and on the way to Siesta Key, you drank 12 Mountain Dews between Dayton and I think Knoxville, and we were stopping like every hour so that you could use the restroom.
And
so
I was
you were
so thankful because I was pregnant and I had to go to the bathroom every time.
That's true.
Yes.
And of course, my favorite memory with Dad would be on my wedding day. There were two moments. The first one was when I was getting ready to walk down the aisle and I started to have a mini panic attack and I was freaking out a little bit. Not about marrying you, Rob, but just about, oh my gosh, it's my wedding day, and the tears started flowing and I couldn't even hold it together. And Dad was just next to me and he was like, look, we're gonna walk down this aisle and you're gonna get married, or he said something like that, and I was like, okay. But just that moment, just what every girl dreams about, walking down the aisle with her dad, I feel like it all just like hit me, and I was so happy to have Dad walking me down the aisle that day, not to mention to a guy that he loves so much, and just knowing that he had prayed for me for all my life and that moment was finally there. It was super emotional and such a good memory. And the next one was when we were dancing. Once again, I was losing it and crying my eyes out like a baby. And I remember he was just telling me just how to be a good wife and support your husband and just submit to him, and he's a good leader and he'll lead your family. And he was just talking to me. He was whispering in my ear like the whole time the song was playing, which made the waterworks even worse, and I was bawling like a baby. But those are two moments that I will definitely cherish and remember forever. Love you, Dad.
One of our favorite stories about you guys, I guess about me, is that Uncle Doug saying, call the Bambulance, and when I took a dump in your pool.
Got him out, because I walked by him, I said, Doug, get out of there. And he did.
What did he do?
You know how you had this iron railing as you go up steps? Well, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He put his head through those railings. And when I walked up from downstairs, I thought, Don's going to kill me. I'm going to have to call the fire department. And I just walked on up the steps and I said, Doug, get out of there. And he did. I could not believe it. He got his head back. Didn't have to call the fire department. Don would have killed him. He wouldn't have had to need a fire department. Another one was a time he had, do you remember that, Craig? Maybe you don't. Baking baby powder on my gold rug. Oh, he had it all over my gold rug, brand new. Don wasn't home, thank goodness. And I thought, I'll never get that up. But that house smelled so good.
Tell your story, Craig.
Hey, am I on video? No, take it off.
I remember that I ride the scooter down the driveway.
With who?
Papa.
Doug and Cindy, happy 50th to both of you. Crazy moments with you guys. Let's think about this. Doug, going to furrows with you in Huber Heights. Couldn't find anybody to help us get what we were looking for. So Doug just decides to grab the PA system on the bench back there and start yelling for people to come back and help us. But hey, that's Doug, man.
Off then on Papa's bed when I was a little tiny bitty baby. When Papa was done cutting grass, then I cried all the time. I cried my head off. Papa was so scared to tell my mommy that I fell off the bed when I was a little tiny. Papa called me and Papa didn't know what to do.
And probably one of the other favorite traits of Doug that you could see as a boy and also in him as a man today is just his compassion. When he was young, he always was taking care of lost animals, dogs and cats and even baby birds that he found in the neighbor's yard. And today as a man, you can see that extend from lost animals to lost people. Doug has such a compassion for others and for wanting to share Jesus and the truth with those people, from mission trips and preaching at prisons. He just has a heart for Jesus and for making sure that lost people know about Jesus. And probably my favorite story about Doug, or favorite thing he's done for me, is when my mom was in the hospital just before she died. Doug went to see her, and he shared and just made sure that she knew about Jesus and that she was firm in her salvation. And that's probably my favorite Doug story. I think just his love of others. Happy birthday, Doug.
One of my favorite memories, well, maybe not my favorite memory, but one of the funniest memories that I have of Dad growing up, me and Jess were playing a game where we would start at one end of the hallway and we would run as fast as we could, and we would try to touch the ceiling at the end of the hallway. Well, while Jess and I were playing that game, Mom and Dad were stripping wallpaper out in the living room. So they're stripping wallpaper, me and Jess are playing this game, and Dad has this big bucket of soapy, gluey water where he's stripping wallpaper, using it to help him strip this wallpaper. And me and Jess are playing, and they're out there working, and it was my turn to go, and I run as fast as I can down this hallway, and as I jump to go touch the top of the ceiling, and as I'm doing that, Dad's walking by with this big, huge bucket, and I collide with him, and the bucket goes crazy. The water goes everywhere. He's soaked. There's gluey, soapy water all over the floor. I honestly thought that I was going to lose my life that day. I thought Dad was going to kill me. But we're looking back on it and laughing now, Dad. That was hilarious. So that was, I'll never forget that. I just thought that, it wasn't funny at the time, but it's hilarious now that I think about it now. I'll never forget that.
Another memory that I have with Dad is when I was little, and every Sunday he would help me pick out my dress and help me get dressed for church that day, and he would always help me put on my pantyhose because Lord knows I couldn't do that by myself. And then after church we would get in my little single twin bed and start Old Yeller, but we would always fall asleep before the sad part. So every Sunday we would take a nap together.
One of my other favorite memories of Doug and Cindy is when I went to their house to ask them if I could marry Jess. We went out on the back porch and really got to kind of pour my heart out to them and kind of tell them what I thought of Jess and and of the family. And then it was really encouraging to hear from both of them. The faith that they put in me to entrust me to take care of their daughter, and that they believed in me, and were welcoming me into the family, and it was just a really special time.
Hey guys, happy birthday. 50. It's the new 20. You're only as old as you feel, unless you're Tony and he feels 80. But happy birthday. I'm very thankful for your lives. I'm so thankful that you're part of our family. Great travel buddies, And I think the funniest thing that I remember about both of you is when we lived in Ohio when we were playing euchre and Doug dropped all the Skittles. Do you remember what I said? You idiot!
Doug, you're such a great example to us all in your faith and your service. Remember one of the first times I had met you, you were reading your Bible 3 in the morning in Haiti. Then you led worship in Haiti where you recited passage after passage after passage of scripture from memory, tying them together beautifully into a great message for us all. And then the way you serve at the jail and the way you serve the children at church and Awanas when asked, and anywhere and everywhere you can. And I just thank you for being an example to your family, for being an example to my family and to Tyler. And what a great display of faith and a man of God. I think of King David, and he was a man after God's own heart. And I really believe, Doug, you are a man after God's own heart. Thank you. God bless you.
Likewise, when I first saw Doug, I wasn't too happy. He had a long blonde ponytail, and he just, as a father, we always think we know what's best for our daughters, and when it comes to men, and sorry, Doug, you didn't fit that category with me, but I can tell you right now how proud I am to have you as a son-in-law. You've been an inspiration to us because you've taken really good care of our daughter and our grandkids, bringing them up in the church, and you're a hard-working man, and I'm really proud to call you my son-in-law.
Doug, your birthday's already been here, but wish you a happy life afterwards. I hope you had a happy day on your birthday. I first remember you back when I first met you in Kennerton Trail. You walked in the room, and the only thing different about you was you were walking on your hands. And you've always had that kind of energy, and it's carried right on through your life, and I hope you continue.
Well, I'm supposed to share a story about Dougie. I've got a lot that I could tell, but, well, actually I can't tell. So this one I can tell. Years ago, me and Tony and Doug, we were going to play basketball, and Tony is a little self-conscious about his weight, and before we went in, he said, hey guys, he goes, if it's all right with you, can we be shirts for our basketball game? And I was like, fine, no problem. Dougie's like, oh yeah, I got you, don't worry about it. He says, we will be shirts. So we divvied up teams. Me, Tony, and Doug were on the same team. Dougie yells, we're skins! That's like my favorite story of Dougie, one of them anyways. But yeah, Tony just looked at him and shook his head, and we were skins, but that's a good story.
One more with you, Doug. I want to thank you so much for teaching my son how to use the outdoors for what he needs. He loves to pee outside still. I don't think he uses the indoor facilities very often, and that's great. Saves on toilet paper. Anyway, happy birthday to both of you guys, 50th. Congratulations for getting there, and have a good rest of your life.
And the Grace Brethren van.
And the Grace Brethren van, going around doing late night White Castle. I would sit in the front, you would drive, and Mark Adam Miller would be in the back, and literally you'd be like this the whole way driving down a 2-lane road, and Mark Adam Miller's about ready to have a heart attack because you're not keeping your eyes on the road, and you knew that. And but anyway, that was hilarious, and just great memories.
Doug, my favorite memories of us is always when we get together and read the Word together. It's always a great time, and I learned so much about God, and I also learned that I can always come to you whenever I need something.
Happy birthday, my Dougie. Can't believe you're 50 years old. What a fine young man you've become. One of my fondest memories of you is when we lived in Beaver Creek at Kennerton Trail, and we lived in a neighborhood with a lot of kids. And all the little boys would bring their bikes to you, and you would fix it for them. You look in our garage, and all these bikes would be upside down, and you working on them. So sweet. And when you were outside playing or walking around, there was the little boys. Also, one of my fond memories is when you had to have a memory verse from church as a little boy, and you and I sit down, we tried to think of one for you to memorize, and you came up with Jesus wept, and that was your verse.
In all serious about my sister, I think the world of my sister. I think she's one of the greatest people I've ever known. And I know when we were kids we hated each other, but as adults I really, really love her, and I'm really glad that she's my sister, and she's just somebody that I look up to, and I love very, very much.
I love you. Happy birthday.
What I love most about Dad is his heart for Jesus. He's always memorizing scripture. He's always displaying love to people, even if he doesn't know them. Like, one time he gave shoes to like a complete stranger, and I just admire him for his relationship with Jesus and for always keeping that a priority in his life. No matter how much he works and no matter how tired he is, I know that God will always be important to him and that he will always trust God with his life.
What we love about you guys is that you're family and that you love and follow Jesus.
Well, and Dougie, I also wanted to say that it's just been such a massive blessing to me to watch how God has blessed you and how you have pursued Him and grown over the years. You are a trophy of His grace, for sure. And as you've grown into the man of God that you are today, you are a really big example to me that I look to, and to my kids and my wife, and I'm so thankful for that. And I know that's going to continue as I keep praying for you, and God keeps blessing you. Keep pursuing Him the way you do. Keep ministering the way you do. And as you begin this 51st year of life, I just pray God's rich blessing on you, and that He would continue to be everything to you that He has. And I hope you get fat.
I also like watching sports with Cindy. We both love sports, have that in common. Justin and I love going over there to watch games. It's easy because 90% of the time we're rooting for the same team. If we weren't, I wouldn't go over there. Rob, I don't even know how you do
The thing
it.
that I love most about you guys is that when we're all together, it doesn't feel like we live miles and miles apart. It just comes naturally that we all just enjoy time together, and I miss that so much.
Okay. Hey, congratulations. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Miss
we
you.
so appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing parents, amazing grandparents, and it's just so much fun to see pictures of you with your kids and grandkids, and we just love you guys, and we're thankful for you. We miss you, admire you so much.
Happy birthday. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great party and have fun, and are blessed by all the videos that Jess is putting together, and I love you guys.
So my favorite thing about Doug would have to be just the kind of person that he is. I am so thankful that Justin had him and continues to have him as an example of a Christian husband and a leader and a father, because I feel like there's no better example than Doug, and I'm just very thankful for that.
Doug and Cindy, you're great examples of godly faith, godly family, and just how to interact with one another with love. It is very clear that you are in love with one another unconditionally and forever, that you love your family deeply, and that you would do anything for them. And then your service is incredible, how you care for others, serve others, and continue to be an example to us all. Thank you for being faithful to God, faithful to your family, and faithful to one another. And I pray you have another great 50 years.
I just want to thank both of you guys for always being there for me when I was growing up, when I was a kid, through my teenage years, and even now. You guys have always been there for me and supported me no matter what was going on in my life, no matter what I was going through. I just love you both so much for that. I wish both of you guys a very happy birthday, and I love you guys so much.
What I love most about Mom is how she stands her ground and how tough she is. She's probably one of the strongest people that I know, just because she will always stand up for herself. She'll stand up for me. She'll stand up for the people that she loves. She'll stand up for God. She's a strong woman, and I look up to her so much for that.
Cindy, I am thankful that God brought you into the family. I'm so thankful that you've been the wife and mother that you've been, how faithful you've been to your family, and the example that you've been to us for all of that. And we've had so many good times as couples together, and I am just giving God thanks for you and praying His blessing on you as you enter this 51st year too.
I love you, Nina and Papa. I love you, Nina and Papa.
Yes, at this point, we're supposed to sing happy birthday to both of you. So, happy birthday
to you guys.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Doug and Cindy.
Happy birthday
to you.
Mwah. Happy birthday, and
Okay.
if you want to sing, you can.
No, I
but
wanna
I'm
kiss.
losing my voice. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna kiss her.
I ain't singing anymore now. Just do Lisa.
Go.
Damn it. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Doug.
Birthday, Uncle Doug and Aunt Cindy. Love you and miss you.
Happy birthday!
Jackson and I want to wish you, Doug and Cindy, a happy 50th birthday.
This dance goes out to you, Grandma and Grandpa. This one's for you. Happy birthday, Grandma. Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. We're going back
We
to
love
bed. We love you. Good night.
Happy 50th.
Happy 50th birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy 50th birthday, Doug and Cindy.
Hey, Aunt Doug and Aunt Cindy. Happy birthday!
Love you guys. Happy 50th.
Happy birthday, Dougie. I love you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nana and Papa. Happy birthday, Nana and Papa. I love you, Nana and Papa. I'm just going to Gus when we get to your guys' house.